Well, hello everyone, and welcome to batch 211 in the freeze dryer. Quite some time ago, I did a Sam's Club haul and showed you that I had bought number 10 cans of sweet potatoes and said I was getting ready to have Thanksgiving dinner and I wish I had gotten some extra to freeze dry. And when I went back to Sam's Club, they had more, so I got some more. And I finally got around to freeze drying them, 4 months later. But that's okay. They held up okay in the can. So, they were Bruce's Yams. And I've started saving the nutrition labels just to add it to the container that I store the freeze-dried food in. And I saved some labels. Sometimes I copy them. These didn't copy very well. I may just end up taping these to the outside of the package they're stored in. But what I did was another experiment, and this is the weight after they are drained. Each can and the contents, once I weighed them, they weighed right there on the top 7 pounds 10.7 ounces. On the label it says they weighed 6 pounds 12 ounces. I weighed the can, it was 11.2 ounces. On this one I weighed the liquid. On that one I didn't bother because it didn't matter. My whole purpose was to actually know what's in the can after it's drained. And there were 4 pounds 5.7 ounces and 4 pounds 4.9 ounces. So let's call that 5.5. So we'll say 4.25 pounds of yams in a 6 pound 12 ounce can of yams after you drain them. So what I did with that is I put 2 pounds 2.4 ounces per tray on the freeze dryer, and yeah, I made sure they were all that even. Now when I put it into the mylar bags, I just called that 2 pounds on the tray. It's not that big a deal. And I actually could have done another can because my freeze dryer can hold 10 pounds, but as you can see, it was already pretty filled up. There was a little bit of shrinkage, not a lot, but you can see the whole tray pretty much was full enough. So 2 number 10 cans of yams did well in my freeze dryer with 4 trays. And then this is what they're like. They smell like yams, and they stick together, but they break apart easily as well. And because these weren't candied yams, there was nothing to stick to trays or anything like that. And here's what happened in the freeze dryer. That's, my notes. I actually forgot to put the date. But right there, I did 4 trays, 2.2 pounds, 2.2 ounces per tray. Is that what it was? And then after they are freeze dried, I've weighed 3 of the trays, and they were 192 grams, 186 grams, and 183 grams. So that's one of the things I love about freeze drying. You don't have to worry about excessive weight should you have to move, or you don't even have to worry about your floor getting weak. I mean, if that was even a consideration. But then the total cost was $10, and this batch took 52.5 hours in the freeze dryer after I subtracted for my added time. So what I do here is I would weigh the entire tray, come up with what it weighs, and then put it on here and then subtract from there. I'm doing half pounds on most of them, and I'm doing 4 to pound. So 2 trays will be at half pound. That'll give me 8 half-pound bags, and then I'll have 4 1-pound bags of sweet potatoes. Now obviously that's not going to weigh a pound. I put the pre-freeze dried weight on there And I do know how much that is. And that's one issue I've always had with buying commercial freeze-dried food. They tell you the weight the product is now. And then, of course, you can figure out how many cups are in there. Like the blueberries I just got. I could just scoop out the cups because there's such little amount of shrinkage. You know what they put in there. But I would like them to say, hey, before freeze drying, this weighed approximately this much, but then of course you'd have the person who rehydrates it and it doesn't come to the amount that they expected it to, and then they'd get furious and say the company lied. So that's what I'm prepping today, batch 211 in the freeze dryer, the sweet potatoes. But I wanted to show you what else I was doing today. In another video, I showed you that I had got some yellow and white popcorn from Walmart, and it wasn't enough to fill a bucket. So I had to actually go out and get more popcorn because I don't want to waste space in the bucket. And then I added another, I think, 4 pounds of popcorn will probably fit in that bucket. And if it all doesn't fit, I can make a combined bucket or something like that, or just put this out to use in rotation. And then here are the sweet potato bags that I did. These are the half-gallon bags that I use, not the tall, thin ones, obviously. Those tall, thin ones, however, I'm using for Oreos. If you recall in one of the Sam's Club videos that I did the walkthrough, I actually purchased these 10 Stay Fresh packs of the Oreos. And they were not for eating, and thank goodness they made it through the weekend, and Nick didn't even see them when he was here. So this is what I'm doing with those. I'm putting these in the other half-gallon mylar bag, if you can believe they call them both the same. Although I've already cut the top off of this one, they call them both half-gallon bags. And here those are side by side. I think this one really shouldn't call itself a half-gallon bag. But I don't know. Maybe measured it would, but maybe it does. I don't think I'm right. But anyway, I get these. These are my favorite bags. These two, they're from 2 different websites. And I showed you in a video that I just did the other day. Where I like to get those, and I think I also showed you where I get the oxygen absorbers. So this is all I'm doing today, and more popcorn, some Oreos as a test. We'll see how those hold up, and I will start probably maybe next year because I'm still, yesterday I went and did more sorting and organizing of the food storage, but I was only able to spend about 3 hours on that, and I didn't make a video of doing that. But once that's all organized and my spreadsheet is totally done, I can share that with you as well, and then I'll be able to start looking at the expiration dates and say, hey, let's go try this because it's been in storage for 2 years. And I'm not so concerned with rehydrating my freeze-dried items, although I could do that. I'm more concerned with trying the ramen noodles and the Oreo cookies, and then remember I did the video on the chocolate candy that I put in mylar. I figured if they can put it in an MRE and people were eating MREs 10 years later, I wanted to try it. So I'm not expecting excellent results. It'd be nice if the things are still just a tad bit edible, but we'll see. So that's it. That's what I prepped today. Popcorn, Oreos, sweet potatoes. And that's it for batch 211 in the freeze dryer. So let me know in the comments, the same thing I always ask you, what did you prep today? And it doesn't really matter if you did a lot. It doesn't matter if it was research for prices of food, whether it was buying food, whether it was researching some current illnesses that may be going around or may not be, and where you can get masks and medicine and some herbal remedies for the flu or something like that. It doesn't matter if you read a book on how to build a fire without matches. Anything you can do to increase your knowledge or increase your ability to care for your family during hard times is prepping. And any step in the correct direction is a step, well, in the right direction. Well, that's a no-brainer. But okay. Anyway, let me know, what did you prep today? Be blessed, everyone.